Good to have you with us.
Hi, Tony.
Okay, let's talk about e-commerce retailers. Is that space growing? Are we finding more in South Africa?
Yeah, it's growing at a very, very rapid pace, and that's really been the case across the world. The interesting thing is, around about 2011, there were predictions that Amazon would surpass Walmart in 2024.
Yeah.
And Amazon, as of late, dropped a bit of pace, but it will eventually happen, and it's most certainly going to happen in the rest of the world soon.
Yeah. Okay, so what does this mean now? If we're getting more, retail stores online, are South Africans participating? Is the consumer saying, yay, I'm now going to shop online? Is that also on the up?
We're always a little bit behind American trends, like maybe 15 years. So eventually what has occurred there will occur here. And if you look, for instance, at the listed property companies, right, then their share prices have been under tremendous pressure. Things are not going so well in malls. But there are two sections of malls that actually have been growing, and that's been same in South Africa and the same overseas. And that is first up lifestyle malls. So it's smaller malls where you would stop maybe in the evening to buy your groceries from.
Yeah.
And then value malls, because the lower end, and the reason those two still grow is because those are the two things you cannot easily buy online. Like groceries are not easy to shop there. And value, like the bottom end of the market, don't have ready access to credit cards and internet, broadband internet. So that's where the two sections that are still doing well.
Yeah. When it comes to South Africa, you look at there was a point where we're looking at South Africa and saying, listen, there are so many shopping centers, there's a mall going up everywhere, and the consumer seems to be struggling at the present moment. We all don't have as much money as we used to have in our pockets. One example is just the extension of Fourways Mall, for instance. So there seems to be a growth in the brick and mortar section in terms of their thinking is positive. People are still going to come no matter what happens.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point. The floor space are growing, but if you accelerate, is a company that built Fourways, and their share price, I think, is now trading at like R1.70, and the net asset value is R8.50. So things are not going well there. So maybe they shouldn't have built it, but they did.
Well, they own a lot of malls within South Africa as well. But let's talk about the online space and South Africans adopting that. What have you seen as Zinio? Are we more likely now to shop online, and am I patient enough to trust that whatever I've just bought is going to be delivered to my house?
Yeah. So it's never perfect, and in South Africa there's probably a bit more growing pains than there is in America. We don't have such well-established delivery systems.
Yeah.
So before, one thing to consider in America, even before the advent of online retail, there used to be it was a catalog ordering companies. Now we see Verimark right there across us, and South Africa had it in a little sense, but Sears, that was this large brick and mortar retail giant, they actually started as a catalog ordering company in America 120 years ago.
Yeah.
So they had a heritage of that which we don't really have in South Africa to the same extent. But I just want to mention one particular point. So Zinio actually works in artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And we engage with a lot of online retailers and also a lot of brick and mortar retailers. And from my perspective, one of the major things is the convenience. So when you shop online, it's not so much a case of always you having to find the product. To a large extent, we can organize it that the product finds you. So you can play around and take a lot, or Amazon, and part of the fun is that you're going to discover, like playing with Netflix, a broad array of products that are specifically tailored to you, at a price tailored to you, and an assortment tailored to you. It's difficult for brick and mortar retailers. They cannot quickly reorganize their catalog, and as you are walking around, they cannot reorganize the shop to bring the things most relevant to you to the front of it. But as AI advances, that's becoming more and more possible for brick and mortar retailers. So there is going to be a time where even shopping in a Woolworths or a Checkers is going to have an experience that's a lot more similar to that.
What about the touch, the feel? I want to see this, especially when it comes to consumables. Like you're talking about Woolworths. I buy apples in supermarkets and so forth, and you look at you turn the packet around and you see there's one or two rotten apples stuck in the middle there.
Yes.
That if I just order that online, they just bring those to my house and I'm buggered.
Yes.
I still want to see it. I still want to inspect it myself.
Yeah, and that's an important point. And to the extent that malls are going to continue existing, it's because they will have to repurpose themselves a little bit. So instead of just becoming a marketplace for goods, it's going to be a place where you're going to consume leisure. So instead of just going to buy your groceries, maybe you get a cooking class there in the middle of Woolworths. Or instead of just going to buy your clothes, it's a place where you can have coffee or a glass of wine with your friends whilst watching a fashion parade and trying on clothes. So it's going to be organised more along those lines. And malls in America that have embraced that have actually started doing better.
Okay, interesting stuff, very interesting stuff. Thank you so much, Wiaan Chenner, the CEO of Zinio, talking about brick and mortar versus shopping online, especially when it comes to South Africa. Thanks so much.